Hello everyone and welcome to The Simple Social. My name is Adrian, I'm social media coordinator here at Masterclass Crowdfunding, and today we are going to talk about a very basic thing: how to optimize your social media profile. Now, I know this may seem like a basic thing, like why are we even talking about this? I can do this in like 10 seconds. But I see these mistakes happening all over, and whether you are a brand, a newly funded company, someone trying to get into professional work on social media, someone who is just generally starting their career, these mistakes happen all over, and I do want to point them out because with just a few tweaks you can get more out of your business, more out of your social media company, social media efforts, and just generally be more successful. So here we go. Number one, try to pick a neutral name. Now this may seem funny and it's quite easily understood when it's about a company, but if you are a person, someone who just recently graduated, or someone who is looking to get into digital work, digital marketing maybe, you want to pick a username that is easy and that is neutral. So I personally have friends who are like blonde lady 12 or young dude 54, and I'm like, why are you even having these names? We are grown people. We should be able to share our names and share a unique name, really, even on social media, and make it easily understood, easily searched for, and not a 12-year-old kind of nickname. Okay, now that I've got that covered, I'm slightly biased on that because I have too many friends who use them. Moving on, number two, optimize your profiles for 5 seconds. Now, in the 2000s, our attention span was about 12 seconds. These days, it's basically lower than a goldfish, which is 9 seconds, and the human attention span is 8 seconds. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to optimize your social media profile for 5 seconds. What does this mean? When I look at your profile, I want to be able to tell in those 5 seconds who you are, what you do, what your company does, what's your website, well, how can I contact you, all the relevant information. I don't want a description of some awesome thing here, click the link below, because no one will really care about that if you don't tell me what I'm clicking on. There are way too many spams, there are way too many clickbaits these days. No one will essentially care about that. So optimize it for 5 seconds, and I want you to leave your social media profiles in the comments below, and I'll make sure to comment on them for the next week, and I'll tell you my opinion on it and give you tips on how to optimize it. Okay, number 3, focus your avatar on your face if you are a person, or just clearly on your logo if you are a brand. Now, if you are a person, try to make your avatar a bit asymmetrical, because it will just get a lot more attention. It's more easy on the eyes while still being kind of interesting. So you don't want a really boring avatar, you don't want a boring face right there, but you want it to be just you. So just your face, yeah. No little puppies, no little whatever in the background. It is you or your company, and that's what your profile picture should be like. Now, number 4, stick with one picture on all platforms. So you want people to easily recognize you when you are on Facebook, when you are on Twitter, when you are on Instagram, when you are on YouTube, wherever you are, you want people to easily know that this is you, so and so, that they're talking about. So stick with one picture. And then number 5, craft a small little mantra or a small relevant description. You want a few words that describe who you are, what your beliefs are, what your values are. And yes, it may seem like a big deal, but when it comes to brands, it is a way to position yourself, to position your values, to position what you want your brand to stand for. And when it comes to a person, I would say that it's just as important, because you want to stand out. You don't want to be lost in the crowd. So, for example, Google's mantra is basically democratizing information, right? Just two little words, but it's so powerful and so effective. Now, obviously, we can't all be Google, so we can use a phrase or two phrases to tell the story of our company, to basically tell a short but impactful description, you know. And again, this ties in with the optimizing for 5 seconds. So spend a bit more time on this if you have to. You know, you don't have to just go and create a social media profile for your brand or for your company. You can take some time, you can optimize it, because that's what will give your profile some value, the time and effort you put into it. Okay, another example, the marketer for Canva, Guy Kawasaki, he is one of my role models really when it comes to social media. His motto is basically Chief Evangelist of Canva, I empower people, right? It's pretty simple. I empower people. That is where his value stands. That's what he wants to do. That's how people see him eventually, because that's the image that he himself puts out there. Right. Number 6, tell your story. Now, there are enough features on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere where you can tell your story. And one of the biggest ways, except text obviously, is with images, and your cover photos tell a story of their own. So remember, as I said, in your social and your profile picture, you should focus on yourself, your face, yeah, just Vogue it, or you know, your logo, a simple logo. On your cover picture, you can focus on the story that you want to tell, on the images that you want to be associated with, on what you want your brand to be associated with. If you have a big event coming up, you should put that in there in your cover story. If you have a big campaign that you support, put that in your cover story. Your biggest, most important value, put that in your cover story. Tell in your cover picture, and tell a story around it, right? Another tip that you can do is create a vanity URL. Now, these are when you go to Facebook at Masterclass Crowdfunding, when you go to Instagram at Masterclass Crowdfunding, when you go to Twitter, it's at crowdfunding, because, well, Twitter didn't allow us Masterclass Crowdfunding, but those are the vanity URLs, and you can search for them and create them on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And this is very important, especially if you are a brand, if you are a company, because this is the easiest way that people will find you. And this is the easiest way that people will start communicating with you. Well, they will start their engagement. So make sure you get your vanity URL when you set up your profile. Okay, and the last and not least is completing your profile. So there are a lot of steps. There is the about stage, there is the website. Please input your website and tell me where I can find you. Tell me a way when I can contact you, an email, an address, a phone number, whatever your preferred way of contact is. Please put it in your social profile, especially if you are a company. There are many companies that I look up on the internet, companies, agencies maybe, that I would like to collaborate with, and I just can't seem to find a contact detail there, and it's just annoying. Again, going back to the 5-second optimizing, I should be able to tell from your profile how I can communicate with you and how I can get in touch with you, right? So to recap, First of all, pick a neutral name, then optimize for 5 seconds. Focus your avatar on your face or your logo, keep it simple. Stick with one picture on all platforms. Craft a mantra of little short paragraphs about who you are, what's your story. 6, tell your story through cover pictures. 7, get a vanity URL. And 8, complete your full profile. Okay, now I know this has been a longer video, but I want to make sure that we cover really the basics of building a successful profile on social media. I want you to be successful on social media and to use social media in your marketing as it should be used to the best of your abilities. So if you have any other tips on how you could optimize a profile, please leave them in the comments below. And again, if you want me to review your profile, please leave the link in the comments below. And I'll see you next week. Bye.